friends, it's Tracey and Violet from Tea Time with Tracey and Violet. There's Violet. And it is Wednesday at 1:16 in the afternoon. I have had a super busy morning. I'm prepping to do a whole bunch of canning and cooking and stuff the next couple of days, so I'm really just resting my bones for a minute. I made myself a cup of tea. I didn't even make a pot, because if I made a pot, I'd sit down longer and drink the whole dang thing. So I'm just having a cup. She's been out with me for a while now. I forget if I've showed her to you on this channel or not, but anyways, I just have one of those Senses lime and ginger tea bags in here. I can guarantee you I'm having a whole pot of tea later on, but for now, I still got stuff to do today. I'm just having my little break. So this morning I went into town to do things. I filmed it over on my Nova Scotia Living channel, but on the way home I stopped to a local post office, and where I live in rural Nova Scotia, and they're just like little shoebox kind of post office is around here. But they sell secondhand books. Some of them do, some of them don't. Like, people just donate books and you can go buy them. Hardcovers are $1. Paperbacks are 50 cents. Anyways, I hadn't been to this post office in, I don't know, a dog's age. And I went there. I had to mail something off to my daughter, and I picked up some books. I am going to talk about a book today, but I want to quickly show you, because this was, again, another unexpected book haul. So I'll show you quick. They're all, well, no, they're not all hardcover, but this one's The Serpent's Kiss by Mark T. Sullivan. I have no idea what this is about. I don't know if it's a thriller or a divorced second-generation homicide detective out of San Diego, Seamus Moynihan, figures he witnessed the worst kind of violence humans can visit upon one another. Then he's summoned to a crime scene where the victim, a naked man, has been bitten to death by a snake in a bizarre ritual orchestrated by a cunning and vicious murderer. To catch the killer, Moynihan must embark on a mesmerizing journey into a world of twisted eroticism, black market, and tactical spiritual cults, and ultimately one of history's enduring mysteries. Who was the second woman? With the help of a biblical scholar whose theories about the I can't speak today. The Strange Wife, how's that? Yeah. Anyways, it goes on. So I guess this is murder, mystery, crime, thriller sort of thing. I've never heard of this person or this book, but it was $1 and I got it. Another one I got, $1. Lisa Jewell. I've never read anything by her. I don't know what this book is about. I don't know if it's popular or not. I was going to look it up. The Invisible Girl. And yeah, I won't go into all what it's about, but you guys might know what it's about. I don't know, but $1. I am going to look it up just to see if there's any book reviews, or you look it up on Goodreads, but I've heard of her name before. I've just never read anything by her, but for $1, it was worth it. This one I'm super excited for. Karen Slaughter, The Good Daughter. I have 2 of her books I have not read yet, and I'm going to read them. One I bought not too long ago. The other one I got, Pretty Girls. That's the one I want to read first. But I seen a Karen Slaughter one for $1, and I need to look this up too. And it's one of those ones that have like the textured pages. So for $1, yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that, because I hear really good things about Karen Slaughter. And then the last one I got, they had a whole bunch. Lisa Gardner, Right Behind You. Hardcover, $1. I think the cover looks pretty cool. It's like a broken glass I'm assuming this is a thriller. Karen Slaughter did a review. Lisa Gardner's is one of my favorite authors. Her fast-paced and exciting novel twists when you expect a turn and turn when you expect a twist. I cannot recommend her more. So that one. Have you heard of any of these books? Because I hadn't, but they tickled my fancy, so I got them. So $4. I got those books. So the book I want to talk about today, I should have reviewed it, but I was going to do Kill Creek, but I just want to rehash on that because I love this one, and I'll talk about that another day. This is Tattered Demon. Why is the Apple TV coming on? Oh, well, before I do this, I was going to talk about my teacup for a second, but I was just letting that sit. Let me just take a snort off of this. I forgot to show you her. She's gold up at the top and down at the bottom. And there, I can tell you I'm going to put more hot water in this when I'm done this cup. Down there, this is her backside. And then her skirt or pedestal there. This is Royal Albert Friendship something guest. It's kind of worn, but yeah. Delicious. All right, I wanted to talk about Steve Vernon's book. I've never read anything by him. I think he's Canadian. Yes, I have a bag of the lime and ginger tea bag in here, and I will absolutely make a pot of tea later, but I just didn't want to have to sit here all day because I have well, actually I do want to sit here all day, but I have a million things to do before the kids get home. So, I will just refill my cup with hot water after because that bag's good for a few uses. But the book I wanted to talk to you about today was Tattered Demon. Now, I got this book. I haven't seen anybody talk about this book. I don't know how I came across it, but what intrigued me was this was taking place in Nova Scotia, and that's where I'm from. Some of the places mentioned in here, it makes me think this is supposed to be located about an hour and a half away from my house, so like in the valley. It pretty much takes place in this little tiny town. One that's, bypassed by a highway. It's kind of a forgotten town, but there's a few people there. And I don't know how to feel about this book. Every single person in this town is crazy, I think. Every single person. Not mean crazy. Some of them are. Some of them really are. Some of them are just... It's a bizarre story. This story starts off with... it's like 300 years ago. This witch was buried in this field. This witch had been shot and hung and burned and nothing worked. So they buried her in this field, and she ended up turning the field against all the farmers, and a bunch of people died. Fast forward 300 years, on that same field, there's this big farmhouse. And who lives in this farmhouse? Her name is Maddie and her husband Vic. So Maddie, it doesn't get into her past, but apparently it was her family's house. And it briefly, says it right on the back. She ended up killing her abusive father and burying him out in the field years ago. Oh, my battery's almost dead. I gotta get my charger. Anyways, at present, she's living in her childhood home. It's a great big old farmhouse. It's nothing fancy. It's a big old farmhouse on this great big field. And her husband Vic, who's a big monster of a man, is coming home late at night, all drunked up, and wants his supper. So she's like, well, I gave it to the dog because he didn't show up. And honestly, she did it just to tick him off because she was ticked off because whatever reason. And he's kind of abusive, like, not kind of, he will hit her and stuff. Not, it doesn't ever show him all out beat down, but still hands off kind of thing. But she's been around that her whole life, like with her father and then with her husband. But it was kind of like the last straw. This happens all in the very first chapter, pretty much. She ends up snapping and then ends up killing her husband. I think hits him with a frying pan or something like that. And she's trying to lug this big old man out into the field and bury him just like she did her father. Again, it says it all on the back of the book. That's exactly what happens. So she's never been a single woman. Like, she married Vic right out the gate kind of thing, and now she's finally out from under the thumb of these abusive men, and she's excited. So in this story, though, it's so, I don't know what to think of it. It's like scatterbrained. There's so many characters in this story. So that's 2 characters right there. And I should mention, Maddie is haunted by her abusive father. And he actually plays a role. Like, he talks in this, he's a blue ghost that floats around her, and they actually converse just like he's right there. Like, she calls him Blue Daddy. And it just, anyways, another 2 characters that happen at the beginning. There's so many characters. Heliard and Dwayne. Heliard is the older of the 2, Dwayne, and they're driving some big old pickup. They're pulling out of the hospital because Heliard's father's in the hospital dying, like on death's door. And apparently his father and Heliard and Dwayne and that whole, wherever they came from, they're country bumpkin killers. And nothing against country bumpkin, because I'm one, but I'm no killer. These guys are crazy killers. Like, they'll go up to a drive-thru and order something, and the lady's very nice, and then haul out and shoot her in the face, like, just out of the blue. You know what I mean? Like, ridiculous. No call for. Anyways, Dwayne ends up wanting a pop, and of course they don't got no money, so they go in, and all hell breaks loose, of course, and Dwayne gets shot in the stomach or something and ends up passing. I don't mind telling you, because it's just the story. There's so many things that happen in the story. And it's not even scary. Like, it's not. But it's just bizarre. It's bizarre. So, Heliard ends up shooting everybody in that gas station. Puts Dwayne in the truck and still talks to him just like he's alive. And, you know, he's sitting there rotting and it's hot and maggots and stuff. And he's driving around with Dwayne and he's stinking. And Heliard's, he's crazy. Like, they're just crazy. That's all I can say about this whole book. So that's just 2 characters. Then there's, well, I forget what her name is, but this morbidly obese woman who used to work for the circus, like as a sideshow freak or whatever. I forget what they called her, but she was retired and lived in this little trailer. And, yeah, she's crazy, and not because she's living large, but she's just, I'm gonna say crazy. Everybody's crazy. And then there's the sheriff. I'm just naming off because there's so many. The sheriff, it's a little tiny community, so there's a sheriff and there's a deputy, and that's it. Like, it's not a big police station or anything. They have a volunteer secretary. Her name is Lily, I think, who has a major crush on the sheriff, who the sheriff is married. Everybody believes his wife is on vacation. Turns out she's dead in his deep freezer because she killed himself, but he can't let her go, and he doesn't tell anybody, so he sleeps down by the deep freezer and talks to her just like, yeah. So there's way more characters. There's way more characters. That's just a little blip in the bucket. I'm just saying there's not one person in this story that is of sane mind, I think. Really. So that's all I'll say about those characters. The story revolves around after Maddie buries her husband in this field, the same field the witch was buried in, the same field her father was buried in. Vic rises up because he's very close to the witch in the ground, I guess. He rises up, but Vic doesn't look like Vic. He was rebuilt. He has the same conscious mind as Vic, but he's under the control of the witch who's still on the ground. And he looks like this. He looks kind of like a scarecrow, but there's bones and there's meat and bugs and everything coming out of him. He's a scary looking mofo is what he is. But again, I was not scared one lick of this book at all. So he's known as the Tattered Demon, and he's the leader, except for the witch, of all the creatures that end up coming from this field, because anybody he plants in this field rises up like him, only he's the kingpin besides the witch, because the witch is the ultimate. So he's on a mission to take over this whole little town, doing what the witch's wishes are. So everybody in this town, who I say is a little off kilter, is free game, according to him. But there is another character, well, Lily, who I said, who has a major crush on the sheriff. Her mother's passed away, but she goes and she's like a voodoo person. Lily is. She was brought up with voodoo. And she goes and gets her mother's ghost or whatever. But in order to do that, there has to be a dead body for her mother's ghost to go into. And there happens to be a broken up dead body, so she sews the body back together. But she has the foot where the hand is and the hand where the foot is, and that's the body the mother goes into. And it's just a big old medley of messed up stuff. It is. So, although the Tattered Demon is trying to get everybody in this town, in this field, so they can eventually move on to all the other towns and eventually the whole world, he's not doing that to Maddie, because he still cares apparently for Maddie, even though he treats her like shite, really. And yeah, so she is still human, so he uses her to do some of the bidding against her will that he can't quite do, because his hands aren't hands, they're sticks. Or, just, it seemed like, I don't want to say it was a waste of time to read that story. It was just looking into a crazy box and thinking, what the heck am I doing here with this book? Like, I think it's some sort of a trope. I don't know. I don't know all the different tropes when it comes to horror. But there is sexual assault in this. There is physical assault in this. There's disgusting things in this book. Very inappropriate things in this book. But then it goes all goofball and says funny things. This guy, Steve Vernon, he uses a lot of sayings in this. Like, I know I use sayings like Bob's your uncle, or, slower than molasses in January, or, you know what I mean? Things like that. There's a ton in this one, and I think it was overdone myself. But then again, it goes right along with this story because it's just a medley of bizarre. So anyways, this is a horrible book review. I just don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it. This is supposed to come to a head when the witch eventually makes her way out of the ground. And the only way to stop all of these creatures is to destroy the witch again. But everybody has been affected by this witch in one capacity or another. And how are you going to do that? It appears that it kind of happens, but then at the very end of the book, it seems like there's going to be another book because it didn't quite happen the way it should have. I don't mind saying this stuff because it doesn't make sense what I'm saying. The books doesn't either. You know what I mean? It's an interesting book because if you want to read something that you don't quite understand, and it's not even like a weird book that it's not like a psychological thing. It's just like, it's almost like a little child made this story. And not that the writing, like Steve. Hold up, wait a minute. This is editing me here. I was just trying to edit this video, but what I was trying to say is the book, although adult content, it was almost like a child writing a story because it goes from one person to the next to the next to the next, and all of them are all strange and weird all at the same time, and they get mismatched together in a tangled up ball of yarn. That's all I was saying. Not that Steve Vernon is a child. It is very adult content, but it's just what it is. Oh, sorry guys, when my kids just called, so it shut off the thing. But anyways, this isn't a very good book review, but whatever this trope is, it's not my style. And it was interesting to read. I really did appreciate, I didn't mind having so many characters. There was a lot of conversation in this. It wasn't like great big paragraphs. Like, it's almost every page is like that. Like, there's conversation. They're just weird conversations. It's all like, that whole page is all conversation. Like, they're all like that. Yeah. The whole book is conversation, which I don't mind that. It makes it go fast. It's quick pace. You can follow it. There's little paragraphs. I really like that sort of thing. But the whole story, was just bizarre to me. And yeah, if you're into Bizarro, this would be a good one for Bizarro trope, if that is a trope. But like I say, there is sexual assault in this. There's like rape in this. There's, yeah, sickening things in this. But Tattered Demon, yeah. Anyways, that's all I can really say about this, because I'm not very passionate one way or another, in the sense that I can't say I hate it. It's just, meh, like, that's what it was. It was okay. It was just like, never heard of it. I should look up Steve Vernon, and I'm not trying to knock him. It's just I've never read a book like this before, and some people might find it disturbing with some of the nastiness in this, but it's like, it was just too bizarro for me. Bonkers. Not scary at all, but just, yeah, that's all I can say. That's all I can say. So anyways, I'm excited about the books I got for $4. I'm going to look those up and see reviews, what people thought of these books that I got. And yeah, I took a little clip and a few pictures of the little post office and the little bed. I'll just put it at the end of this. But anyways, I guess with that, I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose. But if not, that's okay too. I still love you. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, all right. I promise my next book review will be better. It will. It'll probably be Kill Creek. I just wanted to give this one the review it deserves, I think. Not that that one was just like, this one, I really like this one. So I'll probably talk about this one next time. But yeah, anyways, guys, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning. And I might see you tomorrow. Bye. Bloop.